Good morning and welcome to my garden. So today we're going to be talking about a very important thing to take care of in your garden, and that is the weeds. We gotta get rid of some weeds here. You can see here's my tree and there's lots of weeds underneath here, but also there's all these potted plants. They have lots of weeds. Now you may wonder, what is a weed? Weeds look a lot like other plants. The difference being that weeds are plants that grow unintentionally. They are plants that are growing outside of the space that we've planted these. This is a little strawberry plant that I planted here. And we got some leaves in here. Those are strawberry leaves, and those are fine. But what we also have in here, I don't know if you can see how this tiny little plant. Now this little guy, that was not a strawberry plant and does not belong in with the pot that is keeping my strawberry plant alive. So the reason why they don't belong in there is these little guys will get bigger and bigger and eventually take up all of the sun and water and other nutrients from the strawberry plant, and we won't have any little strawberries. What we'll have is big versions of this, which are yucky and not good for anybody. Plus it's got some spider web on it. Ugh. Ugh. Now there's lots of very useful tools that one could use to be able to pull weeds with. There's these kinds of things which help sort of scrape the gravel or the dirt and makes all the weeds loose. This is for really big weeds. You kind of dig them out with the shovel part. This is probably one of the most useful ones because you can actually get in there underneath the weed and then pull the whole thing out. But I find that the most useful tool for pulling weeds is my hands or my fingers. And sometimes wearing gloves is good. Then you don't get such dirty hands or get poked, because some of the weeds, they have thorns. And of course, I forgot to mention one of the more important tools when you're doing some weeding is a bucket, something you're going to be able to put the weeds into so that they don't go back into your garden. You don't want to keep putting weeds into your garden. You want to take those out, put them in a compost bin if you have one, or in the green bin, or just into the trash. You just want to get those out of there. There's some that have seeds in them, so that you don't want those in your compost bin, but it's a little bit more complicated to know which one is which. So better be safe than sorry. Put it in the green bin or put it in the trash. So this is an area I'm going to show you how to pull some weeds out of this area, because you can see there's lots of plants that are outside of the pot, and every single one of these plants is unintentional. I did not want to grow them here. It is on accident, and they are what we would call weeds. Now this is a strawberry plant, as we mentioned before. This is a parsley plant. I meant to grow that. This is great for putting into your spaghetti and all kinds of other good stuff. But all this stuff down here, this is all weeds. So what we're going to do, we're just going to take our hands and we're going to pull them up. So when you find one, you just pull it up. You try to get the whole thing, including this is called the root. You want to pull all that up, because if you don't pull up the root, the whole thing is just going to grow back again. So you just do your best you can to pull the whole thing up, the roots and all, every time. And sometimes you'll end up just getting the leaves, and I guess that's okay, but do your best to get the whole thing, roots and all. So I'm just going to keep doing this a little bit, and then I'm going to show you a little bit more complicated ones, difficult to pull out. So here we are in another part of my garden near my apple trees, and I found this little guy. He is a thorny little weed, and we do not want this guy. He's gonna take away all the nutrients from my apple trees so that we can't have apples. So we're gonna pull this guy up, but be very careful, because there are thorns and they hurt real bad. I've done that lots of times. I've hurt my fingers. So I'm going to use gloves, and I'm going to use this tool. And what we do with the tool, we actually put it down in, kind of like you're poking it, right next to the root of the plant. You dig down as deep as you can, and you just sort of scoop it up. And there it comes. And what we're doing is we're getting the whole root. You can see there, the root is coming up, and you just kind of pull gently because you don't want that root to break off, because then what happens is that it still just grows back inside of there. So that's the whole thing. And that we do not want in our garden. Well, it looks like I got a lot of weeds to take care of here. I gotta do some weeding in my little garden. Maybe you can do that at home. You can ask your parents if there's some weeding that you can do around your garden, or outside space wherever you have a place where you can pull up some weeds. Just ask your parents, make sure that that's a good place, because sometimes you might be pulling up things that you want to keep, like my strawberry plant. So I don't want to do that. Well, I hope you all are having fun out there. Make sure to stay safe, stay healthy, stay home. Bye.